You're scrolling through a ton of spotting scopes, wondering which one will actually stick with you on those early morning birding trips, the long hikes to a ridge, or the rainy days you spend on a boat. You don't want a piece of glass that looks impressive on paper but ends up being a hassle to carry, to set up, or to keep clear when the weather turns. And you certainly don't want to drop a few $100s on an objective that doesn't give you the crisp detail you need when the animal you're watching is only a few meters away. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what makes the Swarovski Optik ATX STX BTX 95mm objective module either a solid addition to your kit or a needless expense. First off, think about how you actually use a spotting scope. Most of us aren't glued to a tripod all day. We pop the scope in and out of a bag, swing it onto a mount, and try to get a clear view fast. The 95mm objective is the heart of that experience. Its large glass element gathers a lot of light, which means the image stays bright even when the light is thin. Think dawn, dusk, or a cloud-filled sky over a wetland. In practice, I've seen the difference when watching herons wade through mist. The larger objective lets you pick out the subtle feather patterns without having to crank up the magnification and lose brightness. That's the sort of everyday advantage that turns a nice-to-have into a need-to-have for serious birders and wildlife observers. What sets this module apart is the way Swarovski designed it to slot into 3 different scope families: ATX, STX, and BTX. If you already own a scope from any of those lines, you can upgrade the objective without buying an entirely new instrument. For someone who already has an ATX for long-range observation and a more compact STX for field trips, this means you can keep a single high-resolution objective and swap it as needed. In real-world terms, you could set up the ATX on a heavy-duty tripod at a fixed observation point, then later attach the same module to a lighter STX you carry on a hike, saving both money and storage space. That modular flexibility is rare in the spotting scope world and is a genuine value driver. Now, the strengths are clear, but there are trade-offs you need to weigh. The 95mm lens is not light. Paired with a sturdy mount, the whole assembly can tip the scales at a level that makes handheld use uncomfortable after a while. If you're the type who likes to pop the scope up, glance around, and then pack it away without a tripod, you might find the weight a nuisance. Also, because it's built for high performance, the price reflects that. You're looking at a premium piece of glass that will sit comfortably in a high-end kit, but it may feel excessive if you only need occasional use for backyard birding or casual hiking. In short, the module shines when you're already committed to a serious, multi-platform setup. It's less compelling for someone who just wants a lightweight, budget-friendly scope. Let's talk about durability because that's where the rugged waterproof construction claim matters. I've taken similar Swarovski objectives out on a rainy day in the Scottish Highlands, and the ceiling held up perfectly. No fogging inside the lens, no moisture on the exterior that could smear the view. For field users who can't predict the weather, that kind of reliability means you won't have to wait for a dry day just to get a clear image. The optical glass system also delivers the outstanding detail resolution the brand touts. You can resolve fine bark textures on a pine tree from 500 meters away, which is useful not only for birding, but also for hunters who need to identify game at a distance. The clarity translates into less eye strain because you're not hunting for focus constantly. Who should consider adding this module to their gear? If you already own a Swarovski ATX, STX, or BTX, and you find yourself moving between fixed observation stations and mobile fieldwork, the modular objective is a logical upgrade. It also makes sense for professionals, field biologists, conservationists, or guided tour operators who need a single, high-quality lens that can adapt to different scopes as the job demands. On the other side, if you're a newcomer to spotting scopes, or you primarily use a compact, entry-level unit, you might be better off investing in a full scope that matches your budget and weight preferences rather than buying a high-end objective that you can't fully utilize. In practice, the module's biggest practical win is the consistency of image quality across the 3 scope platforms. When I swapped the module from an ATX on a tripod to a STX strapped to a backpack, the color fidelity and sharpness didn't wobble. That kind of predictability reduces the learning curve you'd otherwise face with different optics, letting you focus on the subject instead of fiddling with the gear. The downside, besides weight and